Hey there, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Memorial Day to you. Stock market might be closed, but the crypto market never sleeps. BTC, Ethereum, XRP, and SUI. In this video, I'm finally able to hog call a little bit better as my cold's finally starting to go away. I'll tell you what, there's something always interesting going on. I will give you the levels that we should be looking at and saying potentially where we could be going from here from the levels that we find ourselves at. So let's get into the charts on this one. By the way, if you guys want to see my technicals, my buys and sells, more analyses, I'm over at the Discord. Links in the description. Code word doctor saves you 50% off the first month. So let's pop this up here. So Bitcoin peaked out at $12,000 even on this chart. And I talked about this area of resistance, which was red, that I said we had to get on top of. I color coded it green because we got on top of it. And now it's serving as support for us, which is a good thing. It allows us to launch higher with those prices. So far, that's what we're seeing. Above the 13, above the 5. Right now, looking good on an EMA basis. The RSI has cooled down. That's down here at the bottom of the chart. Has cooled down to just bullish status instead of overbought status. It's also good to see a little bit of that cooling. We still stay in pretty much what looks to be a bearish, my goodness, a bullish channel that we have going on in the charts as well. As long as we stay in here, we can continue upward for a while. There is some evidence that it's more of a rising wedge, but it's a very, so not parallel, but almost parallel, if you will. And I'll tell you what, they don't come together for a while out here, and that price where they would peak out is about 180,000. And I got to tell you, my Bitcoin price prediction, I'll even put it up here on screen for you. My Bitcoin price prediction that I have for this is actually here, that we get that one full movement out of this, and it takes us to not quite that. We can actually fix that. 134,213 is that number that I think we should be looking for. So 134,213, there you go. It's official. It's on your screen. If we can get up on top of this 111,337, that gives us a shot at this trend line that you see coming across here. 121's next, and after that, clearing that's that 134,213. That's going to take some significant momentum to get up there. So I think that actually is going to take a number of factors. I think easy monetary policy is going to help us out there. And I also think that high US GDP, which we get some information on that coming up for us. I think things that are going to push the market higher. I know it's a bit messy here. This is the NASDAQ 100 ETF QQQ that we're looking at here. If we're able to put in new all-time highs on the Qs or on the SPY, which tracks the S&P 500, I think that could spell good things for us for Bitcoin. I think that puts in that next rally. I think that we could see that price push up that way. Also, further adoption into the crypto space is really going to help that out. More news on Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. If we get evidence of US buying into that, besides just taking custody over what has already been taken from what's been recovered from some different hacks and stuff that have been out there that have been discovered over time throughout the crypto space. So for this, I think that institutional buying, governmental buying, I think we're going to see even further demand coming in for crypto. If we look into the weekly chart, RSI 68 almost as of today. Monthly chart 70, just tiptoeing into that overbought territory, which makes me think there could be a little bit of retracement coming our way. Maybe we pull back to 104 or an even 97 or 98 sometime in the near future before we make that final run that takes us up to that 134,213 before really turning around again. So I do think on a daily basis, right now we're looking okay. We want to watch and see where we go. Watch for that retracement. If we pull back to 98, 97,000 again, I think that's that giddy up moment that we're looking for, that really big buying opportunity allows us to jump in and grab a big bite of that. Now, mind you, I can't tell you to buy or sell. I can just tell you how I would treat it. And that's what I would be looking for, is that next dip under 100,000, because I think the next time that we get that, putting aside from that black swan events and big old disasters and that kind of stuff, I think dipping below 100,000, we're not going to see it too many more times before this thing starts to go somewhere between where it is now and the Michael Saylor case. I think he's one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls that we have, so I think he would be what we would call the top end, and the bottom end of people who call it zero. Take the average of those two things, you're probably looking a little bit more right. So let's get over into Ethereum, because Ethereum right now, the support that we're looking for happens to be right exactly where it's at. So there we go. Now, mind you, I usually use the 200 SMA, and I've talked about that before for Ethereum. What does that look like? That's actually where we find this resistance up here when I put up the simple moving averages, that you can see that rejection coming in, But I see a lot of people talking about the 200 EMA, which also has a lot of validity to it, and a lot of people use it. And that actually ends up being the massive support that you see. So the battle's actually being fought in a way between the 200 EMA and the 200 SMA. So this orange line being resistance, this blue line being support, and which one's going to win out? Well, let's take down the EMAs for just a moment. This 20-day, we got a reversion to the mean so far. Not bad for us at all. And we're also back up on still on top of that 200 EMA. So the longer term moving averages speak about longer term price movements. The shorter term moving averages speak about shorter term price movements. So if we get on top of both 200 moving averages, the EMA and the SMA on the daily chart as we have it on here, that is going to be a wildly bullish thing. So I talked about getting on top of 207. Right now it's 207.01 for that 200-day simple moving average. Getting on top of that's going to be huge for us. So just for the simple moving averages, we're on top of the 20, we're above the 50, getting the 20 to cross the 200, getting the price action above the 200. It's going to be very bullish for us. If we put up the EMAs, we have the 5 over 13, that's near-term bullish. We have the 5 that crossed over the 200, that's a bullish sign. The 13 over the 200, even more bullish to see that. The big moment that we're looking for to follow then would be, assuming that the price continues to appreciate, this 200, which is in this nice, cool, icy blue color for you, in that red 50-day crossing up over, causing that big golden cross moment. I still think that we have that $3,300 price tag coming for us for Ethereum. Taking a look at the simple moving averages, what do we got? The 20 crossing the 200, like I mentioned before, but we already got the 20 over the 50. So this reversion to the mean is actually a very good thing to see. Allows the price to cool down a little bit. The momentum, currently the RSI is at 64 on a daily basis. On the 50-day, it's at 52 and rising. That is a huge thing to see for that. And then on a monthly basis at 50, it's part of a decreasing. So if we get to the point that this price appreciates and we show that we're turning around with the momentum indicator with the RSI, that could be a very bullish thing as well. So we actually have very ripe RSI for Ethereum. We have a lot of reasons to stay hopeful on this, that this double peak is a very short-term thing that caused a little bit of a dip. If we don't lose that support, which I had up here for you with this green area that's on here already. Now, mind you, this is massive support for us. If this support holds, giddy up, it's off to the races. We get to check out 3,000. And then after that, we also get to check out what I narrowed down to a single number here for you, 33,444, my goodness, 33,447. So that's the number. That's my Ethereum price prediction that I have on here. And I think that we can get there. Don't lose the 20-day. Don't lose this support. And I think that we're off to the races. I think we could absolutely see it. We have a lot of bullish signs coming our way. Strength in Bitcoin is going to help that. Strength in the U.S. markets is going to help that. Over to XRP. I put this up here for you. I wanted to get better technicals put up for XRP for you. Currently, we have this 232 line right across here that you can see has been existing for a while now, where we danced around it going all the way back to December. And we came down and tested it back in January, tested it again in February, messed around with it again late February into March, tested it as we got to the end of April. Now we're sitting on top of it right now. RSI back down near 50, fully reset from getting near that overbought territory. This could, as long as crypto holds out here, this could be that launching point that allows us to break through this resistance and sit on top of 263. Gives us a shot at pretty much $3, 296.6. So 297 would be what that rounds to. And then up above that, we have clear skies up until 331, almost 332. And I still think that we have a shot. I think the price target that I would put on here, if we get that next massive run for XRP, that next massive run, I think, puts us here. Oh my goodness. There we go. At 463. That's the number that I'm looking at for that next major run for XRP, allowing us to push up through here. We need some massive volume to show some serious conviction, some big news to get us up there. It's not going to be easy. You can see all the white lines of resistance along the way, but under the right circumstances, we get there. There is some confluence of resistance in here around 419 up to about 425. So if we're able to get through there, watch for the high peaky sell pressure to come in around that 463 number. I think we'll be very reluctant to get up above that in the next major run. Now, mind you, that is not a long-term price target in terms of where I think it can go in the very distant future. I think in the next run, as long as we don't lose this support that we have down here, either of these two green areas, we hold either of those two, this 463 I think is activated on the next major run. So that's what I'm looking for XRP. Now I know that you guys have been waiting for this SUI. And before I talk about SUI, just so you know, SUI token, down in the description is a link for the Discord at 50% off your first month when you sign up using the code word DOCTOR, DOCTOR. And you have to use the earner tier for that one. Earner tier is the way to go as it gets you unrestricted access to everything that it has to offer over at the Discord. So you got the bread bot, which can tell you when the major moves are coming for stocks, cryptos, you name it. And then also over there, you have AI tools, advanced charting tools. You got a community of thousands of members. You have a panel of experts, not just one single person running the Discord. So Stock Mode, being a personal friend of mine, assembled a team of experts. I'm over there. It's our Discord that we now run jointly, and you guys can go and check it out. Like I said, less than $1 a day for access to that. See what you think. Take a look around. And I think you're going to find that it's just a wonderful place to be with a very supportive team pushing you towards the financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. Regardless of what financial instruments you're taking a look at, there's people over there who are very knowledgeable about it, myself included. We'd love to have you over there. And if you guys will learn to do this technical analysis that you see on my screen as well, and learn how to use the bread recipe trading strategy that I use, especially in my day trading, although it works across all time frames, I've noticed the longer the better, as a matter of fact. But that's another story for another time. But technical analysis, trading using technicals with the bread recipe, using options, which is where I get the real alpha in my portfolio that allows me to add to my long-term positions over time and really build out my investments. There's a link for that too through Stockmo Academy. Click on that, sign up for either one of the courses or bundle the courses to save a ton of cash. Save even more with any combination of those using code word DOCTOR. Guys, let's get into the SUI chart. Boom, there we go. And SUI, here we go. Here's what we're looking at. I updated some technicals on here. And when I say big fat rejection, with the updated technicals, I got to tell you, I mean it more than ever when I say big fat rejection right around the 419, because you have in here absolute rips from absolute bottom to absolute top on this. You have that Fibonacci retracement, and you also have from the last major high to the last major low, you have that retracement value in here, as well as some Fibonacci extension values all tied together. You get selling pressure, but that means that if this support down here, which is not big fat support in the way that's big fat resistance, but it is super critical support that we're currently finding right now, this could be that cool down time as the RSI just below 50, but that could turn around for us. If this support holds out, we'll watch for that. If the rest of crypto takes off this week coming up here, SUI could go right along with the SUI token, could go back to the north on this. I think it'll blast right through this 38 too, as for that one, it is more near term, more myopic, more of just a travel from the last movement that we got. I think it'll blast through that. And we really want to sit on top of, the number to sit on top of is 426. That's the number that we're looking for. Although as long as we sit on top of 419, like I said, with this big fat rejection up here that you see with the arrow, 419, get on top of that, 426 will probably finally allow us to clear that resistance. And then we have room up to about 457, 459. And assuming we can get through that, the last movement that we got with that flag pattern points to 497 for that price prediction. So guys, make sure you pay attention to the support and resistance that's on here. We do not want to lose 346. We lose 346, we can be down closer to about 311, all the way down to about 287. So the support holding out right now, I think we have a lot of reasons to be hopeful in the crypto space as well as the stock market. I'll talk about stocks in my next video, but for this one, we have a lot of reasons to be hopeful, even if there are some near-term pullbacks for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, SUI, and there's a lot of others out there as well. Solana is one of the ones that I'm updating my technicals on right now as well. But I got to tell you that even though we're seeing some softness right now, we have reasons to keep our fingers crossed that if we get some good economic reports over these next 2 weeks and labor market reports being part of that, so good for GDP, good for what we have for labor market, I think we're going to find ourselves in a really good position to see that next leg up for crypto in the near future here. Ending May strong, getting into June pretty strong, and then we'll see what the middle of the summer brings for us. July could start to get very interesting in a lot of ways for not only just crypto, but also the stock market, bond market, you name it. We're going to have to watch and see. I'll save that for another video. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Join us over at the Discord using the link in the description. Educate yourself using that options course and technical analysis course using that link in the description. Code word doctor, whether it's for the Discord or for the courses, code word doctor is going to work either way. It's going to save you a ton of cash. Guys, can't wait to see you. Can't wait to hear from you. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.